Hey everyone, I'm Mecca here from my self-publishing Blueprint, and I am sitting down again with Dave Chesson, the Kindlepreneur, and we are going to dive deep into KDP Rocket. KDP Rocket is one of my favorite publishing tools. I've been using it for a while. It completely changed how I run AMS ads for my books, and he's unveiled or released some new features on it that we're going to cover that is going to save you so much time you have no idea. So Dave, welcome back to the channel, man.
Hey, thanks. It's really good to be here.
Awesome, bud. All right, let's kind of just dive into things and get right to it. So we were talking before we started about how, I was viewed that KDP Rocket was more for fiction, but you're like, no, it's I designed it for more nonfiction publishers. So maybe we could kind of, we'll go through this as you're kind of like showing me how to get the most out of KDP Rocket as a nonfiction publisher. Does that make sense?
Yeah, most definitely. Well, the first thing that I want to say is KDP Rocket's true existence is to help peel back the curtain of Amazon so you can see the wizard, working behind the curtain, right? I mean, we as authors, before KDP Rocket out, it was all just guesswork. You had little ways to kind of figure out what people were typing into Amazon. You kind of could tell if things were going well, but that was it. I'm a hardcore math nerd and, compiled all these formulas and did a lot of data tracking and analysis. And that's how we created KDP Rocket, was to finally give authors a very simple, easy way to know what's going on in the market. So with that said, though, to fully understand what I mean by the curtain and understand the market, we got to dig a little bit deeper back into the original, thing of search and understand why these numbers are so important. Do we have my presentation up? I can use some cool pictures.
See it. We're good to go.
Awesome. All right. So let's talk about how shoppers do it, right? Okay. Somebody decides they want to go buy a book. They go to Amazon, they go up to the top bar, and they do one of two things. They either A, go to their favorite category, okay? Like they're a diehard Space Marines fan, so they go to Space Marines, okay? Mm-hmm. And they look for the next book. But we're talking nonfiction, and in truth, most people don't search for nonfiction books by going to the favorite category. I don't know about you, but I'm not that diehard of a World War II history that I go and check it like every other week, right? Fiction, on the other hand, yeah, I got my style of fiction. So especially in the nonfiction world, we don't really use categories as our way to buy. But what we do is we go to the Amazon search bar, we type it in, whatever our pain point is, whatever it is we're trying to discover or learn, and then we hit search, and Amazon will give us some results. Okay, so we talked about, categories a little bit, but the truth is the best way is Amazon search. People type it in, they then look at the results, they click, and they buy. Right. So what is the data science, right? So what is this? Well, the fact of the matter is that when people type in that search term and they're given a list, statistically speaking, 27% of the people in that phrase will click on the first book at the top. But only 12% will click on the second book and only 9% for the third, and it quickly diminishes down to 6%.
Wow.
So to give you a better understanding, book one at the top of the searches gets double the amount of customers than book two. So when some people are like, oh man, I found this great keyword and I'm showing up for it, but it's not working. I'm like, oh really? Where are you ranking? And they're like, oh, I'm like number 14. And I'm like, you're getting only 6% of the love, whereas book one is getting 27%. So understand the big difference of where you are in rankings will affect the percentage of people that will get to your book. So with that in mind, okay, let's give a little number here. If you choose a keyword that gets searched 1,000 times a month and you rank number 5, you're only getting 60 clicks. 70 clicks. That's 70 people a month will now find your book that never heard of you, didn't know anything about you, because you ranked number 5 for that keyword. All right. Now imagine though, that same keyword, you rank number 1. Now you're getting 270 clicks a month. That's almost 10 new people will not only see your book, but go in and figure out if they want to buy it. That's discoverability. But all of that comes down to that number of 1,000. Knowing that this keyword has 1,000 people per month type it in, lets you know the importance of whether or not you should even target it. I mean, imagine back in the day when we didn't know this. We're just guessing. We're kind of hoping. I hope that word is something someone uses. I hope that, there's 100, 1,000 or whatever. So you can start to see that just understanding what words people type and how many people type that in per month is insanely important for our strategy to being discovered on Amazon and getting buyers onto our sales page. All right. So let's talk about this. What exactly are keywords? They're the words your shoppers use when they're looking for their next book. Okay.
Right.
That's like, we sit down, we're ready. What words do we type? And key thing is words. All right. Not word. One big mistake people make with keywords is they get too broad. Like they're like, oh, science fiction. It's a science fiction book, or, it's,
like
health.
weight loss.
Weight loss. Yeah. Right. No. Look, if somebody is starting their search with the word weight loss, they really don't know what they want. Sure. They're not yet ready to buy. They're starting their, be more people type that in. But what I want is like something where, can KDP Rocket tell me if there are like 1,000 people a month that type in teenage weight loss, right? Okay. Or beach body by summer,
right?
Or like that sounds really niche. That sounds like somebody has something in mind that they truly want.
Specific
if that's
things.
Yeah, a specific thing, a specific demographic, a specific result, a specific pain point. But if it may sound like a wonderful thing, like Beachbody by the end of summer, might sound like a wonderful thing, but guess what? KDP Rock will tell you nobody types that in, so don't waste your time on it. However, though, teenage weight loss, yeah, that's pretty good, okay? So it's really the things people are thinking of. And as you just heard, right, the key thing for nonfiction come through like pain points or problems, results, solutions, emotions, and demographics. All right. A great example of somebody who had a great keyword but totally did not deliver well enough was someone who found that, hey, going back to school is a big one. All right. There are a lot of people typing in, going back to school or how to go back to school or getting an education. The thing was that there's a huge difference between the markets, the demographics, okay? Some people want to go back and get their GED. Some people want to get their college degree. A lot of people are much older and retired and want to go back and get that college degree as kind of a pride thing. Let me tell you, those are three very different markets and thus three very different books. If you write a book that tries to cover all of them, you're going to not make any sales. But if you know that there's like 1,000 people a month typing in tired college education,
right?
Well, now you've got something. And now I know who that is. That's retired. That's older people. I'm going to have on the cover a picture of an older lady holding her college degree instead of some young kid, because what old lady wants to get a book with a young kid on it when it's about her retirement, right? Yeah. When I write the book description, I know that I should be talking about ease of not having to go to college, but get it from home. Tell your bridge, club all about your new college degree or that you're a college student. Like I can start to work book descriptions knowing that market exists. Right. So we have pulled back the curtain and we now know who our market is and we now know what they want. We can create the right book for those who are buying books on Amazon. Okay. And again, just to reiterate, when we start thinking about our nonfiction words, we're thinking pain points, problems, results and solutions, emotions, and demographic.
Love it.
So let me jump through some of these and let's go straight to a great example with numbers and everything for nonfiction. Okay. All right. So right here are these numbers were all generated using KDP Rocket.
Okay.
I know nothing about, I am a parent, granted, and my wife will tell you I know nothing about it. Most dads will say we know nothing about it. We just learn on the run. But I just randomly picked this subject to kind of show some of the things I was able to find out about the existing market on Amazon. First thing was I typed in parenting, and there's 24,000 competitors, and the average amount of money for the top 3 books that show up for the word parenting is $3,600. Now, there are 3,000 searches per month on Amazon, but man, is it super competitive. And again, all those things were created with KDP Rocket. Now look at all these other terms, right? We got a different demographic: parenting teenage girls, and how to parent, and parenting teenage boys, right?
Right.
Just a change of the demographic and look at those differences. It's double the competitors, but double the money. But strangely enough, there are more searches for teenage boys, and it's less competitive. See, just right there, the demographic of teenage boys seems like it's not being served well enough. Something's there. So what I would do is I would now look at the competitors and ask myself, why is it that there's more searches for parenting teenage boys, but they're not selling as well? To me, that sounds like there is a hungry market for it, but there's no book that truly says, yes, this is the book on parenting teenage boys. And sure enough, there's like a couple, but they're not evident to be just the one demographic.
Okay.
See? So if you were sitting there saying to yourself, I want to write about parenting, using KDP Rocket, if you just said parenting was your goal, well, you're now competing against some super hardcore players. Good luck. Right. Especially good luck getting up to the top and getting that 27%. You're probably looking at more of the 5%. However, though, if you tweak your book and instead you start writing about, you make it about parenting teenage boys, you've got your leg in the door. You have the ability to get in front of what is an underserved market, have less competition, and still have some capability of making cash, profiting from your book.
Right.
And we can continue through, and just using that, we broke it down. It's like parent ADHD, which it's hilarious that, what is that? 120 people type into Amazon is parent ADHD. So is it like the parent has
ADHD,
or is it a misspelling or bad grammar? I don't know. But I'm sure that the parents aren't typing in parent. I think they mean parenting ADHD. But again, hey, misspellings are great. And right there, look at that super low competition score, 28, and making $300. And it's got the same, it's 120 searches. That might be a wonderful area, how to parent kids with ADHD.
Right.
And sure enough, digging deeper, yeah, that is a great term. So you add up all those different terms around parenting ADHD, parent ADHD, parenting kids with ADHD, parenting teenage boys with ADHD. And now you add all those 7 keywords together, and you're getting in front of a larger market thanks to knowing the numbers. And finally, my favorite one of all is the how to parent a strong-willed child. My 6-year-old daughter has juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and she is by far my most strong-willed child. I didn't understand that term, but it is actually a term for a type of kid. And sure enough, so I kind of knew about this niche a little bit. There are only 18 books total that are targeted towards that phrase. There's 120 people per month that type in that exact phrase, not, parenting strong-willed children or parenting strong-willed child, but how to parent a strong-willed child. And it's making, on average, $512 per month. So again, like, we now have the ability to find opportunities or to make our book reach an existing market just by doing a little bit of research. And that's exactly what KDP Rocket's been created to do, is to pull back the curtain so you can see these kind of numbers.
Are the competition score 0 to 100?
That's correct. Yep. 0 to 100. And I would say that, if you're a brand new author and you never really published, definitely looking at 50 or below. If you have published before, and you've got some, you've done it, you've got kind of your system or book launch, then 50 to 70. Anything above 70, you're someone who's like an authority in the subject. You have an email list,
following, and yeah,
right. You can like turn on the faucet and streamline traffic to your book and make sales. Okay. Then you go for 70 and above. So a great way to kind of strategize, where you are. So 50 and below, brand new. 50 to 70, you've done this and you got a plan.
Yeah.
And then 70 and above, you're like Pat Flynn or you're, Tim Ferriss.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I just wanted to clear that up there.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Anything else you want to touch on that, or can we talk about the new categories feature?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump on that. So So one of the things about categories is that, when we go to publish, we have to select certain categories that we want to show up for. And this process was just absolutely painful. I wish Amazon would make like, here's one page that lists every category. Now find the best one, but they don't.
No.
Like instead, you got to go in and you got to come in here and you type in like, say, for example, we're doing parenting, like, right? Okay. What categories are out there for parenting? Well, I do a search and I got to click on this book and scroll down and try to find out, okay, what category do they show up for? So they show up for these 3. Okay, so there's 3. Next one, and you got to do that over and over again. But here's the thing, though. In order to get more sales from a category, there's two categories that will do that for you. One that helps you to become a best, but you get that tag, looks great.
Yeah.
Or the other one is to show up in a category where people actually go to and buy.
Right.
Again, that's more of a fiction thing. But knowing where those are, which ones have those, are very important. Well,
Mhm.
to do this correctly, I would be doing the search like over and over again. I'd probably click like 100 different, the different times. I would take the category string, I'd copy and paste it, put it in an Excel sheet. And the other thing that's important too is to look at the ABSR, the Amazon bestseller rank,
Yep.
and then know like, what that is, right? If the ABSR of the number one book is 697, okay, then to be the number one best-selling book for that category, I would have to have a ABSR of 696.
Right.
So these are important things to know, and it takes a lot of copy and pasting. So we got rid of that. I personally hate doing it. So
Yep.
we created the new category hunter feature on KDP Rocket, and instead of having to click through all of those different pages and collect it, we just made it so that KDP Rocket will do it for me. Now, right now, it's going into Amazon and it's pulling up that list of books that we saw in the Amazon results, and it's immediately going into each one of those, and it is copying and pasting all of the category strings right here, as you can see on the left. So just like that, I've got a list of, 8 categories.
Mhm.
Now, again, we talked about the only way that this would be practical, okay, way to make it where it helps me is to find out which one would require the least amount of sales in a day in order for me to be a bestseller. So I
Right.
clicked it and I arranged it from least amount of books to the most amount of books. And right now, this here, which is, we can click this little link and we can see the list of books. This is substance abuse.
Okay.
And in order to be the number one seller for substance abuse, I would have to sell 43 books in one day. It tells me that right there. See? These aren't really good. There's no way I'm going to sell 43 books in one day. So let's try it again. I'm going to do parenting ADHD. Maybe this will maybe find some other areas, for me, other categories for me to select from. So it's quickly generating. Hey, look at that. We're already in the 14 and 12 range
Right.
instead of 48. Like, so just like that with 2 quick searches, and I'm not kidding. I've never done these searches, so I didn't know that was actually going to work. But 2 searches, and I've now find where all I got to do is sell what's this one? Pediatrics. Okay, that pediatrics is great for parenting. I wouldn't have thought of that. Awesome.
Mm.
So there we have it. We have a much better chance of selecting a category that will allow us to be a bestseller than what we would have if we'd just done the parenting. And that's why we created this feature.
And then this way you can just ask Amazon to put your books into those categories.
Exactly. So all you would have to do is copy the string,
Yeah.
go to Amazon, and I've got an article in Kindlepreneur, like Kindle categories into Google. It will come up number 1. Click on that, and it's got a step-by-step process on how to ask them. You could either call them and ask them, and it will be instantaneous, or they actually have a special form just to request for categories.
Right.
Go in there, paste your book's information like your ASIN number and say, please to add this category string to this book. And you can actually get them to add you up to, I believe it's 7 Kindle and 3 books or something, or it's like a total of 10.
It's total
between
of 10.
the books and Kindle.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, this is something I've been doing for my books for a while. And it always required so much time kind of digging in there and figuring out which ones were going to be, be the best. And I do want to mention, you want to make sure you're picking categories that are relatable to your book. Nothing.
Exactly.
You don't want a parenting book in with wood making or woodworking, right? That's just
Right. Exactly.
So,
and I see that a lot. Like there will be somebody who's super stoked because they're a best-selling author on Amazon. They'll put the screen capture, and you'll be like, oh, so your book on, I don't know, like living in your means ranks #1 for astrophysics. Like,
yeah, who are you kidding? Right?
yeah, exactly. Like, okay, you sold
Yeah.
one book, in astrophysics. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a lot of things I wouldn't have thought about. Now, if I'm just about pediatrics or if I'm just about parenting and there's nothing about medical, then yeah, don't do it. But
Yeah.
if you have a component that talks about medical, like like for some of us, knowing how to actually take care of your kid if they get hurt,
Mhm.
then awesome. I think you're in the pediatrics realm. So there's, again, a lot of opportunity, but we used to have to just search and search and search until
Right.
we could finally find the right category string that is appropriate, but is also attainable at the bestseller level.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much. I know you're super tight on time, so we'll just wrap it up right now. But Dave, thank you so much. This was a pleasure. I'm excited to dive through and reorganize some of the categories for my best-selling books, just to make sure I'm getting the most out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big thing to say to people too is that, the competitiveness of categories changed as well. I mean, say for example, you jump on, like, you're like, oh, sweet, this is a great one for my book. Well, guess what? That category just got more competitive. Or if
Right.
a new book comes in and they have their big launch, it is very competitive, but it will die off as well. So we got to come back and we got to kind of keep looking at these things, and just being able to do it in seconds instead of 15 minutes just makes it so much easier for us.
Totally. So that's awesome, man. Thanks again. All right.
All right. Take care.